Q is assigned true, true, false, true, false, true, false, false. R is assigned true, 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 false, true, false, false, false. P is assigned in another table true, false, true, false. Q is assigned true, true, false, false. P is assigned in another table true, false. A proposition is the expression of agreement and disagreement with the truth possibilities of the elementary propositions. The truth possibilities of the elementary propositions are the conditions of the truth and falsehood of the propositions. It seems probable even at first sight that the introduction of the elementary propositions is fundamental for the comprehension of the other kinds of propositions. Indeed, the comprehension of the general propositions depends palpably on that of the elementary propositions. With regard to the agreement and disagreement of a proposition with the truth possibilities of an elementary propositions, there are possibilities. Agreement with the truth possibilities can be expressed by coordinating with them in the schema the mark T, true. Absence of this mark means disagreement. The expression of the agreement and disagreement with the truth possibilities of the elementary propositions expresses the truth conditions of the proposition. The proposition is the expression of its truth conditions. Frege has therefore quite rightly put them at the beginning, as explaining the signs of his logical symbolism. Only Frege's explanation of the truth concept is false. If the true and the false were real objects, and the argument in not P, and so on, then the sense of not P would by no means be determined by Frege's determination. The sign which arises from the coordination of that mark, true, with the truth possibilities is a propositional sign. It is clear that to the complex of the sign false and true no object or complex of objects corresponds, any more than to horizontal and vertical lines or to brackets. There are no logical objects. Something analogous holds, of course, for all signs, which expresses the same as the schemata of true and false. Thus, for example, P is assigned true, false, true, false. Q is assigned true, true, false, false is a propositional sign. Frege's assertion sign, turnstile, is logically altogether meaningless. In Frege and Russell, it only shows that these authors hold as true the propositions marked in this way. Turnstile belongs therefore to the propositions, no more than does the number of the proposition. A proposition cannot possibly assert of itself that it is true, if the sequence of the truth possibilities in the schema is once and for all determined by a rule of combination. Then the last column is by itself an expression of the truth conditions. If we write this column as a row, the propositional sign becomes true, 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 P and Q. Or more plainly, true, true, false, true, PQ. The number of places in the left-hand bracket is determined by the number of terms in the right-hand bracket. For n elementary propositions, there are Ln possible groups of truth conditions. The groups of truth conditions which belong to the truth possibilities of a number of elementary propositions can be ordered in a series. Among the possible groups of truth conditions, there are two extreme cases. In the one case, the proposition is true for all the truth possibilities of the elementary propositions. We say that the truth conditions are tautological. In the second case, the proposition is false for all the truth possibilities. The truth conditions are self-contradictory. In the first case, we call the proposition a tautology. In the second case, a contradiction. The proposition shows what it says, the tautology and the contradiction that they say nothing. The tautology has no truth conditions, for it is unconditionally true. And the contradiction is on no condition true. Tautology and contradictions are without sense, like the point from which two arrows go out in opposite directions. I know, e.g., nothing about the weather when I know that it rains or does not rain. Tautology and contradiction are, however, not senseless. They are part of the symbolism, in the same way that zero is part of the symbolism of arithmetic. Tautology and contradiction are not pictures of the reality. They present no possible state of affairs. For the one allows every possible state of affairs, the other none. If tautology and conditions of agreement with the world, the presenting relations cancel one another, so that it stands in no presenting relation to reality. The truth conditions determine the range which is left to the facts by the proposition. The proposition, the picture, the model are in a negative sense like a solid body, which restricts the free movement of another. In a positive sense, like the space limited by solid substance in which a body may be placed. Tautology leaves to reality the whole infinite logical space. Contradiction fills the whole logical space and leaves no point to reality. Neither of them, therefore, can in any way determine reality. The truth of tautology is certain, of propositions possible, of contradiction impossible. Certain, possible, impossible. Here we have an indication of that gradations which we need in the theory of probability. The logical product of a tautology and the proposition says that the same as the proposition. Therefore, that product is identical with the proposition. For the essence of the symbol cannot be altered without altering its sense. To a definite logical combination of signs corresponds a definite logical combination of their meanings. Every arbitrary combination only corresponds to the unconnected signs. That is, propositions which are true for every state of affairs, cannot be combinations of signs at all.